something invisible is holding you back? There's a reason, and it's not what you think. Let me tell you a story about an elephant, a tiny rope, and a powerful truth about your own life. Once upon a time, a curious traveler wandered through a small village on the edge of a forest. He came across a vast open field, an elephant training camp. He stopped in his tracks, stunned by the sight. There stood a row of massive elephants, calm, still, and tethered by nothing more than a simple rope. No cages, no iron chains, just a single piece of coarse rope tied loosely around one leg, fastened to a small wooden peg in the ground. The man blinked in disbelief. These were powerful creatures, strong enough to uproot a tree, fast enough to crush a fence, capable of snapping that rope with barely any effort. And yet, they stood quietly. Not one of them tried to break free. Then he approached the elephant trainer, who was resting under a tree nearby. "Excuse me," the man said. "I don't understand. These animals could escape in a heartbeat. Why are they just standing there?" The trainer chuckled softly, as if he had heard the question 100 times before. "It's simple," he said. "When these elephants were very young, we used the same type of rope. Back then, it was enough to hold them. They'd pull, struggle, resist, but eventually, they'd give up. They were too small to break it. They tried again and again, but it never worked." He paused, glancing at the elephants with a bittersweet smile. And after enough failed attempts, something shifted in their minds. They stopped believing they could escape. Even now, as adults with all their strength, they don't try, because they still believe the rope is stronger than they are. The traveler stood silently, stunned not just by the story, but by what it meant. He walked away from the camp that day with a heavy thought pressing on his heart. How many of us, he wondered, are tied by ropes that no longer hold any real power? Invisible ropes. Beliefs we accepted years ago when we were younger, more fragile, more afraid. Moments we failed and decided we always would. Times we heard, "You're not good enough," and started to believe it, and so we stopped pulling. We gave up. Not because we couldn't succeed, but because we once failed, and that failure became a chain, even when it wasn't real anymore. But here's the truth. We grow. We get stronger. We learn. What once held us back no longer defines us, unless we let it. Your doubts? They're just old ropes. Your fear? It's just a story. The power was never in the rope. It was always in the belief that you couldn't break it. And now you can. Because today, you're not the same person you were back then. You've faced storms. You've endured setbacks. You've climbed your way through pain, failure, rejection, and still you stand. Don't let yesterday's limits define today's possibilities. It's time to test the rope again. So take a step. Pull hard. Challenge the story that says, you can't. Break free not just from the rope, but from everything it represents. Because you were never truly trapped. The world didn't bind you. Your past didn't chain you. Only belief did. And belief can change. All it takes is the courage to try again. Break free. The rope is only in your mind. And you were always strong enough. Thanks for watching. If this story gave you something to think about, let it live on in your actions.